It is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. These were the words of the President Akufo-Addo as 100,000 young graduates were deployed under the Nation Builders Corps program across Ghana. Now, this program has 7 modules where the recruits will be distributed to work in various districts and regions. The modules are Feed Ghana, Heal Ghana, Digitize Ghana, Civic Ghana, as well as the Enterprise, Educate, and Revenue Ghana modules. President Akufo-Addo performed the graduation ceremony to pave way for the deployment of these NABCO beneficiaries. Maxwell Agbagba was there. This is what he saw.
Cheers and the celebrations when thousands of NABCO recruits converged on the Blaster Square for their graduation ceremony. In his speech, President Akufo-Addo urged the recruits to respect time and be punctual at all times. He says a mobile application would be monitoring their performance at their various workplaces.
When the current trainees are about to exit the program, present concerns over their future will appear moot. This is because trainees will be equipped and will thrive without recourse to NABCO planning their exit arrangements. Nonetheless, the scheme has well constructed and clearly defined exit routes. Our public services and institutions, having benefited from the services of NABCO trainees over the 3-year period, will naturally have opportunities that allow the retention of trainees who have justified their value. Another pathway is the building of an entrepreneurial base among the trainees. Ministry of Business Development and the National Entrepreneurial and Innovation Plan are involved with this exit pathway. The goal is to have 500 business leaders mentoring 500 NABCO trainees under the Enterprise Ghana module. A dedicated fund amounting to the equivalent of their 3rd-year allowances is to be made available for them to start their cooperative ventures. An equivalent matching fund will be sourced from a private investor to complement the 4.5 million CD fund. NABCO trainees must bear in mind the government is investing some 3 billion cedis of taxpayers' money into this program. Your monthly stipend of 700 Ghana cedis is not free money, and you must earn every peso of it through hard work and dedication, which I'm confident you will do.
National Coordinator of the Nation Builders Corps program, Dr. Ibrahim Anyas, has been reacting to comments that this ceremony was to score cheap political points. He has also been talking about a new mobile application to monitor the performance of recruits. As the president was having his say, trainees were receiving SMS broadcasts from the NABCO system pointing to the launch of the Android version, the Google version of the mobile app. The iOS Apple one is being processed through for certification, and then we have the Windows version. What it means is that for any NABCO trainee, that will be the basis on which we account for their presence at work. It has a clock in and a clock out system, and that app is meant to be the way we generate our pay list, because the president says the money is not free. To invest 3 billion of taxpayers' money over a 3-year period, there must be some value for it, and it has to be accounted for in the productivity that we're going to gain from these trainees. That is also a way to account for the real people who are there. So unless you have a NABCO PIN or code, you cannot log onto the app. So everyone who logs in is a real person. And as I speak to you, you can go to the Google Play Store and you realize that NABCO is currently ranking as the free app, the top of the free apps on the Google Android. And a lot of our trainees have started downloading the app.
Now, Maxwell also spent some time interacting with the new NABCO recruits who have landed their first jobs since completing university, some of them many years ago.
Let me start off first of all with you, Mahama. Mahama, 700 Ghana cedis for NABCO recruits. What do you make of that amount?
Yes, I say it's enough for most of us because as I'm saying, most graduates have been in the house for barely 10 years without working. And even those who are working are receiving less than that amount. So giving us 700 will boost our morale.
Find out from you, Mahama. How do you hope to spend the 700 Ghana cedis? How do you hope to, spend that?
Spending the money.
Well,
depending
your budget. You want to share with us your budget, if you don't mind?
Depending on where I'm staying, at least I have. I want to continue with my education. I want to also continue with my education, so I would save some depending on where I'm staying. If it's a walking distance, I'll be able to save more at the end of the month. But if it is a traveling distance, so I have to take car, I have to, since the institutional placement is not in, I don't know where I'm going to work, I have to wait, so then I can see how I can split my budget. So for now, I don't know how I'm going to deal with the 700, but I believe with such an amount and closeness of my place of work to where I stay, I believe I'll be able to do a lot with the 700 cedis.
What about you, Idris? How do you hope to spend the 700 cedis? I'm sure you've budgeted already. Are we looking at rent? Are we looking at what you'll be spending on food, transportation? How are you hoping to spend the 700 cedis allowance or salary, we should call it?
Well, I would say this is just a relief from also saying that, well, if my basic needs are whatever that I need for my basic needs, at least this 700, I will no longer have to go to my parents, oh, I need this, I need that, please, could you give me money for this or that? At least I will begin to start catering for myself with it and saving little by little, so that by the end of this program, I should be able to say, okay, I have saved A or B.
Now, let us also talk to you. Let's find out from you. There are some people who think that today's ceremony here at Independence Square was not really necessary. There are some who are suggesting that it could have been held or it could have been decentralized for it to be at the regional level. What do you make of that?
Thank you very much. That's absolutely true. I could remember I met a friend just now who said he came from all the way from Axim to Accra just for the ceremony. It could have saved time because we are teaming graduates who are not working. So spending at least 100 cedis from Takrade, from Kumasi, coming here, look at the risk involved in traveling all these distances. I believe if it had done in the regional level, it would have helped these people who are from, some are from interlands in the western region, interlands in the Ashanti region. It would have saved them such an amount of money traveling and the risk also involved in traveling. So I believe this whole ceremony, conveying all us here wasn't necessary.
We know you went through some rigorous training to get to this stage. You want to share with us what kind of training, was it? And then also the issue about employability after the 3 years. What was the training like?
The whole process has been very hectic. From day one, from registration, from going for orientation, for interview, and the time too has not been consistent.
So what do you think the future is going to be like after 3 years when you are done with NABCO?
Oh, the future is going to be brighter. And most of us, I believe, won't do the whole 3 years. I believe some of us will gain other employment at other places. Which
so you quit when you get employment at other places?
When it is far better than the 700 I'm taking.
You have a plan B?
Yeah. Most of us, if other opportunity comes and it's offering you more, just go for more. So I believe this training tool will help. So looking into the future, and gaining the training from this experience, I believe it's good. It's good for us.
Okay. Now, on the ground, thousands more Ghanaians remain unemployed and are looking for jobs. We have exclusive reports for you on that shortly, plus another report capturing how people are surviving in the wake of the economic difficulties brought about by the shortage of jobs. Now, we'll also bring you detailed analysis of the unemployment situation here in Ghana. We'll compare it with the circumstances in other countries. Of course, we're excited to hear from you, so you can join the conversation on social media. Twitter and Facebook are available to you to share your views. We also have a poll, which we'll be sharing results of in a short while. But the question is simple. Are our political leaders taking the issue of job creation seriously? You can vote on our Twitter page, it's JoyNews on TV, or send your comments to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/JoyNews on TV. We're also on Instagram, it's JoyNews on TV, so let's hear from you. But first, let's take you to the industrial area here in Accra, where Nancy Emefa Jradosi met a few people who would like a job.
About 100,000 persons have been enrolled on the Nation Builder Score, one of government's flagship programs to check the unemployment in the country. Now, people have described this as a drop in the ocean. Why? Because it is estimated that as of 2017, 2.36% of the population were unemployed. And it's for no reason, and it's not surprising that you see vacancies and people are being due for money. And so, for instance, we see vacancy, full-time and part-time jobs for graduates and non-graduates. So per this, today on our way to find out and speak to people how they have been surviving with their unemployment situations, we chanced on a group of people who are gathered in front of us from seeking jobs. Some of them I've interacted with already have been telling me how difficult it is for them to find jobs in this, in recent times, as some of them have been home for 2-3 years. But today, let's get the side of their story. Let's speak to them. Let's not speak to experts. Let's find out from those on the grounds how they have been faring, how they have been surviving over the years, and find out why they have not been able to get. Is it because they are lazy? What exactly is happening, and why have they been home for a very long time? I've been joined by a few of these people to find out from them what exactly has been their concerns. Mpamacho Medase. Also, who are they?
Me bahasa mepe eduma.
Baso bepe eduma. Na enfia hinie na why unemployed?
Be 5 years ni.
5 years. Wa ware won kola.
Ma ba ware negu. Ba me won kola nso.
Kola mo wo na so mo pa na.
Ebi wo won papa, ebi wo me nchen.
Enti for 5 years ni a won eduma. O ye den na wo survive.
Say yes, sorry, ebi wo obi ni amani akwaje ne ya ton. Na yese nya kakra ne nso ye de abehwe fie.
Nti nyema bensa e de ahe na wonya.
E de ayele so abe 20 cedis.
20 cedis. Ufal transport home.
Oh, there be. And then me for transport.
Uti onkola mko school fees.
Yeah, hotel school fees.
Nti we de na wo survive we na.
Bi wo ho unu na mu ana wonya mu ana yese wo da support. Na se bi wo papa na me force na yese. Why? Okay,
so Sophia Sarkodie says she's been unemployed for the past 5 years. She had a husband, but she's divorced. She has children. In a day, she says when she's able to get something to do to survive, she's able to get about 20 Ghana cedis in a day to take care of herself and her family. So I can imagine how difficult it is. In the first thing,
Grace Kumi.
Grace. Also, how long nina unya ejuma?
Oh, I check on na me ejuma or dignity so. Sikasem no ye ntina yete ash form so ye ba ash form so. Ya yes ti say bia omo be fa ye na ya ye ejuma so. So ye ba omo say nde ochina nti. I am see ya breso. So yes so far so ye mia ye ni say we be fa ye so still omo fa ye nti ye hwe.
You see how long and why you unemployed? Because mommy, how many months and I say years?
Oh, you say Jumani, my year be a chum, na pay no na name. May find say 2 months.
2 months. Yeah. Also, how are you surviving? Where then I will survive because there, but just so salary na and so. And as you see, I say, oh, nyashi, no, until where then I will survive.
Oh, me pay kakra na me one and one na me didi. Nti se wo like me and my sister bom na ewa akra nti e ya oboa me kakra na enye ni nyina no betimi aye ama me.
So do you say na about meeting?
I was say aban no ma youth no yenye edwuma ye fi say ya na ye vote man nti bibi ni I was say o ma yenye edwuma ye na se wa ma yenye edwuma ye dia 2020 dey obehwe form.
Okay, so she's another person who I spotted here at Ashform. I don't know who else who wants to speak to me. Abigail, right? Abigail, do you speak English or do you speak Jewish and Tree? And see also, and fear here and as a month here now. So what's nefi?
Oh, Martin fear be 3 months.
3 months. How are you surviving? Where then I was survival show?
Oh, nyame nkwa na hwe mama nso na boa me kakaka but you see ade like asem kakra bi atu ni nti I say like onye sika mama if I hwe nti me na me struggle say me ejuma aka na me de ahwe no nso.
Nti wankasa how do you feel because me sure say bia wonye no na we need that so say opese so school na be kwa na ejuma bi na obesua wo ya be hwe mama na sisi asela we wie nso isi o mama na egu so hwe oju hu aya den na ya ba wa adwin.
Oh, you see am be say me ejuma na me to school so because me sure education boa me like I'm good in education tea like be say me to ase na be ya me nya baby papa ejina na me de ahwe mama mo.
Level be na do senior high school na university.
Senior high school. One person senior high.
Then na person we.
Oh, person me accountant and I'm using a bank.
So Abigail has been explaining that she has been unemployed for how many years?
2 years.
For 2 years. So you can imagine how she's going through. She says her parents have been the ones, trying to take care of her, even though she wishes to be the one taking care of her parents. Now it's the other way around, as her parents are rather taking care of her. She's been able to attend school to the secondary level, and it's her wish that somebody will come to her aid because it hasn't been easy. She wishes to be an accountant, and of course she's here at Ashform to get a job. Have they said anything to you yet?
Oh no, they say we should wait. Every day they say we should wait. We are outside, but we are not hearing from them too.
So she has been coming here frequently to ask for jobs. So you can see the number of people who are currently standing behind me trying to get jobs. You've also been employed for how long?
2 years. Addo host, nothing no they go on. I know the chop. If my friend no give me something, I no go chop. Since morning safe I dey talk, I no chop. Nothing no they go on. For the system inside, no work. You go here, they say wait. You go sit down there till like 3 years. They don't take you. Oh, make us the woman knew about between us, a crab, 2 weeks in it. Obian Finipa, about cries, we a vampire or horror. You don't know where with the cancer.
But how have you been surviving?
I say my friend, Madame Fufo, if I meet my friend, be than ask him, oh, I beg, nothing know they go on. Then you go dash me, then you dash me. If you no go dash me, then I dey carry forward. Me too, I get 2 pickings, then they go school. Work no day, I dey can't search for work. I know they get work. So now the government won't make you use bullets them, struggle them or what.
But you know that they have started employing people already.
Yeah, I have a hand work. I'm a forklift driver. But now if I'm searching for work, I know they get work. So that is my problem right now. So one work, I get hand work. I'll be forklift driver.
So have you worked before? Because you said 2 years.
Yeah, I've worked in Ashform about 5 years. Driving Ashform, forklift. But they didn't mean just me here. About 2 years in the Mitina fee, she cost more column. So I'm married in a school.
It is here about so much can be actual.
It's an seminar because
For how long? For 5 years?
Yeah.
And why haven't you continued? And why have you
I've lost my parents and I have nobody to help me. I come to Accra to get some job. But when I come to, they say, wait, go and come. Every day we are here, but no vacancy for us.
So for the past 5 years, how have you been surviving?
Times my sisters help me in case I'm in need of something.
How difficult it is? How difficult is it for you?
It's very difficult to complete senior high school without working, nobody to help you to continue education. At times I feel boring.
What do you think can be done, in your own opinion, to solve this unemployment situation in Ghana?
It's like the government have to help with the youth so that we can also get something to do. At times, if you take your certificate to the companies, they don't mind you unless you have somebody there before they can take you. So the government have to do something about this to help with the young ones.
What was your dream growing up? What did you want to do?
I want to be a designer.
A designer. But have you tried going into those fields and did it work out?
Yeah, I've done a lot. I even have a certificate. I've done a practical with a certain lady for 3 years and she gave me certificates.
So, and you wanted to use that to get a job?
Yeah.
And that is not happening?
Yeah.
For the past 5 years?
Yeah.
All right. So what's your name?
Regina.
Regina says she's been home for 5 years. She completed the SHS 5 years ago. She has not been able to continue. This tells a lot about the seriousness of this situation. People have been home for years, graduates and non-graduates, looking for jobs for several years and they are not getting. And so from here, at the industrial area, we're surrounded by people who actually need jobs. I don't know if you can see those even behind me and from this side, trying so hard to get the attention of a company that they have been trying to get for a long time. Others said they have been trying options elsewhere and nothing is happening. It is their hope and prayer, and they want government to also come to their aid to help them get a job, because that's the dream of everybody when they are born. From industrial area here in Accra, I am Nancy Emefadra-Dosi.
These are just a few of the many people we met today who are not graduates, are not included in NABCO, but would certainly love a job. Right, now we have some data on how Ghana compares with the rest of the world in terms of unemployment. So in light of this situation, and the high cost of living in Ghana today, we've been asking, how are people coping? Now that made us recall what Justice Bedu found out when he did this report 5 months ago. Take a watch.
Paul Kadan is one of millions of Ghanaians living life on the edge. 2 years after leaving school, he has no job and now turned to photography, earning 250 cedis a month. I've come to meet Paul. He lives with his parent. He sports a red t-shirt taking photos of her 4-year-old cousin.
Before the month ends, the money is already finished. Sometimes within 2 weeks, everything is gone. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, everything. So I've never bought anything new since I started photography. I'm yet to maybe save a part and then buy something new. But since I started, everything goes into consumption. Yeah. So, I make sure that I'm always home so that I don't step out to spend. Almost always all the time I'm home so that I don't get to, spend too much. I'm going to meet you.
To make matters worse, Paul lost his father 2 years ago, putting more pressure on his single mother. As he does every day, Paul is sitting under a lush palm tree inside his home in Kaswa. In his wild imagination, thinking of his dream job which led him into the nation's premier university.
So when friends say, oh, they want to go here and all that, I'll tell them, oh, maybe I'm not interested or something. Just so I wouldn't spend. Or I want to even buy new shoes and all that. I won't go out. I've set my mind not to go out so that I spend. So, and then when I'm home, my mom will cook and I'll eat. So there's no need for me to spend too much, especially in the evenings. It is only maybe in the morning and afternoon that I have to buy food myself, and then, yeah.
Paul may be one person, but his case is just a scene from a bigger story. When the World Bank commissioned a study into the subject, it concluded close to half of all young Ghanaians were out of job.
My course mates, we all have a group page that we are all on. And we are almost always free on the page. We are chatting. It tells me that, and a lot of them will complain that there are no jobs, so the government should be, do something about it. We all see it on the page, and so it tells me that
indeed a lot of my colleagues have, no job.
Many of the young people in this bracket struggle to survive every day, hoping that change will happen soon. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Kaswa.
Yeah, fascinating stuff there. Right, now we're going to do some analysis. Let me introduce you to my guest in the studio. He is the Greater Accra chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI. His name is Chonam Akpelo. And of course, later on the show, we'll be joined on the phones by the General Secretary of the TUC, Dr. Yaoban. Also, Bright Rekun Brube, who is the Deputy Employment and Labour Minister, will be on the phones with us. And this afternoon, we've been asking the question on social media, is this enough to deal with the bigger problem of unemployment in Ghana? So let's get started. First of all, let's look at what our poll has been telling us. We asked the question on social media, are our politicians or our political leaders taking the issue of job creation for the youth serious? So far, with 100 votes in, actually more than that, 199 votes in, we have, or is it 100? Hard to see from here. Yes, with 100 votes in, it says that about 29% of you say yes, political leaders are taking the issue of job creation for the youth serious. 71% of you, however, think no, that our leaders are not taking this issue seriously. Revealing. Right, well, that is what you are telling us. Of course, we'll take more of your thoughts and views a bit later. But right now, though, have a look at this. This is the trend of unemployment from 2007 all the way to 2017. It would appear that in 2010, that was the highest rate, 5.32. We're currently around about 2.36 after our lowest dip in that 10-year period being 2014, when it was at 2.16%. And this is World Bank figures. This is what the World Bank says is the situation with our unemployment here in Ghana. Right then, so let's get straight into it. And Cholam, thank you so much for making the time to be with us. It's good to see you again. And the AGI, of course, I'm guessing we'll be tapping into NABCO, especially with the enterprise module, where private sector is being invited to actually take on some of these young men and women and give them jobs for at least 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about how AGI is gearing up to take advantage of this.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon for having me. So to begin with, I think overall it's a great program to have a genuine attempt to see a lot of our folks, graduates who are unemployed, actually securing employment can only be a good news. For us at the private sector, our key interest is to see how sustainable are these initiatives. So yeah, we've been part of the discussion, especially the enterprise side of things. We've listened. Essentially, they want us to get involved by having some of these young graduates on the table, have a 3-year contract where we have them government pay. First year we share the cost, second year, and then the third year we fully assume the cost. So great idea, but we believe very strongly that these, if equip private sector, incentivize private sector to provide leadership in creating jobs, will be a much more better way of solving the unemployment problem. And so for us, in as much as we believe it's a great initiative, we still feel very strongly that private sector should still be allowed to lead in creating jobs in Ghana.
You know, it's not the first time I've heard this suggestion, but each time I hear it, the question that comes to my mind is, are you not being allowed to do that right now?
To be honest, the entire industrial space is very harsh at this moment. There are real significant bottlenecks that do not allow industry to flourish as is expected, enough to generate the jobs required to absorb all these people we're talking about. For example, there has been significant improvement in the interest rate, which is great, but issue of accessibility is not being addressed. So you see that banks may have lower interest rates, but the reality is that very few people are able to access. So in effect, not much is achieved. And if we don't have loanable funds readily available with favorable conditions, how are you able to expand industry in order to hire all these people? So I'm saying that the realities are making it difficult for actors in the industrial space to be able to hire all these people. So the call will be that why don't we deepen the conversation with industry to ensure that we expand the frontiers, okay? Incentivize us, the tax holidays. I imagine that if you were a foreign company coming together, you're more likely to be receiving better treatment than if you were an indigenous company and so on. These are realities in our part of the world. And I'm saying you have to tackle this intentionally in order to achieve some result.
Now, you know, industry says make the conditions better and we with our own money will employ people.
Exactly.
But how are we to trust that you will do this? I mean, if you are making more money, will you not perhaps spend it on foreign labor, skilled labor? Is the typical graduate from a university here in Ghana fit for purpose to do the jobs that you will be creating as you expand?
Well, that's a good question. You mentioned job and skills. So that's a different dimension to the entire conversation. Number one, ordinarily, if I have to hire, the first place I look for are my folks, my Ghanaians. We've got everything. Of course, there's a mismatch between graduate being produced and the jobs available. I run a technology company, and I can assure you that it's almost always difficult finding the appropriate technology people, professionals to hire. But we're saying that you have to work on the training side of things as well. You have to create a system where even at high school, the kids has an opportunity to learn those skills that are actually useful in the job market. For example, coding, programming. High school, you should be able to be exposed to programming and coding. For example, metal work, factory hands. But our high schools are grammar schools, essentially. And why don't you create courses, elective courses at these high schools like pre-sec, etc., that focus on technical skills, which is actually required in the job market. So if you do that from high school, I can pick up these guys and train him in order to hire him. So I'm saying that you have to also watch our educational space in discussing the bigger issue of employment. And so for us as industry, our local folks are the first people that we consider in hiring, and we will continue to make sure that we expand that. It is the joy of every participant in industry to hire local folks, first and foremost.
Well, I mean, now with NABCO and at least for 1 year, government paying their salaries, this is wonderful free labor for industry, right? I'm sure you'll be jumping over each other to pick up fresh, young NABCO employees.
Well, it's not necessarily as simple. So there are a lot of determining factors that go into recruiting somebody to hire. So a 700 Ghana worth employee, I imagine it's a low, in my side of field, I mean technology, I imagine it's an extremely low skilled person.
Oh, so has a degree in something.
Okay. Let's assume, yes, a degree. But I'm saying in industry, most of these academic attainments don't matter much. If you come to my office, I'm keen at seeing what you can do. Do it, let me see, and then I can hire you. I mean, the conversation is simple. So I'm saying that the 700 paid employee, I'll be keen to learn a lot of things. Number one, what is your real skill set? Number two, which volume of training am I required to do in order to properly have you to be productive? All these are cost anyway. And for how long must I train you to be able to get accustomed to the new job? So these are the hard conversations we need to have. But the truth is, this is a national assignment, so as citizens, we're also inclined to support the initiative. So we're happy to have them on board and to genuinely train them and see what can come out of it. So clearly, well, we're on course. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Did you give this input to government when they were forging the NABCO initiative?
Yeah, certainly, yes. I mean, AGI has been a part of the conversation, and we
So what was the answer they gave you regarding this thing about matching skills to jobs? What answer did government give you?
I'm unable to give you specifics, but what I know is that government is available to listen in most of these conversations. But, you know, most of the challenges are more systemic than deliberate, really. So in as much as they want to listen and help, you also have to realize that you're creating a framework, a policy framework. So sometimes it's difficult to bend to some of these things. But I think it looks good on paper. Let's give it a try. You know.
All right. Now, we're happy to have on the phone lines the Deputy Employment Minister, Mr. Bright Rekun-Brobe. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks for your time. I'm hoping you can hear us, Mr. Rekun-Brobe.
Hello.
Ah, yes. Hello. Mr. Rekun-Brobe,
yes, my brother.
Thank you so much for your time with us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers or listeners.
Right. Now, NABCO, big initiative, finally outdoored. Now, let's start with this morning's ceremony. I saw these young recruits, some of them who have been out of work after university for several years, now very grateful for the opportunity to earn some money, and then you ask them to march in the Independence Square. Can you explain to us why you thought that was necessary?
Well, thank you very much. And again, I must add my voice to what you have said to congratulate all the beneficiaries. It's something that they had been yearning for. You know, last year we were supposed to roll out a program called Graduate Internship. And then this idea mooted from the Vice President's office. That was a very fantastic initiative. So we had to subsume that strategy and come up with this NABCO program, which was on the 1st of May 2018. The President initially launched it, and he indeed spoke about it at length at the KNUST. Today, incidentally, also it coincides with World Day Against Poverty. And you can imagine that such a day being observed and people who have been longing to get jobs and monies in their pockets so that we shame poverty was coincidentally also outdoored today. So it's a kind of double edge, and we are grateful to the presidency and his vice and to all the ministers and the coordinator and his team who worked tirelessly to get this far. The marching, for me, adds beauty to the whole thing. It's not as if there's a special thing. You may probably find out from the organizers, but sitting from afar, I was not part of the organization, but I think that they wanted to give it a color. It's a ceremony, and there are beneficiaries. These are young men and women, you know, and they are nation building. So to kind of show that, yes, we are ready for the job. So we march and we, you know, give that enthusiastic feel to the program. So that's why I think that they incorporated that aspect into the program.
What do you say to those who suggest that this was really something that belongs in the days of military rule, and that making people come and stand in the hot sun just because you are going to be paying them 700 cedis a month of taxpayers' money is just a waste of time? What do you say to those who say that?
Yeah, Kojo, well, you know, we are in a country where we are very much partisanly polarized. it appears that whatever one party in government is doing, the other would always want to have something to say about it. I do not see anything militaristic with this. I mean, how can somebody suggest that? But, well, I have to respect their views. They have to get something, to let it sound negative so that people would even overlook the kind of import and the significance today brings to about 100,000 of our youth who have been longing for jobs. I always tell people, like, just imagine, there are some of these graduates who have completed school 4 or 5 years down the line. Some last year. They wake up in the morning and all they have to do is go and look on the dining table if daddy or mommy left some 10 cedis for them. And, it is socially demeaning. What this program seeks to give them is to satisfy the fact that these are people who, some of them, haven't had experience on the job. So you look into the dailies, all the graphic and the Times and all newspapers that advertise for jobs are looking for people with some practical years of experience. So these people, some of them even hold masters. They say that, well, what I'm going to do now seeks to give me opportunity to gain experience and propel me to a permanent job. So I'll take it. And we are doing this, and you get our friends on the other side, trying to put a spin on everything that was so beautified today as we saw. And everything they did was spontaneous. I'm even sure that if the marching was not incorporated in the program, the beneficiaries would have loved to march. That's for people to see how excited and happy they are.
Well, to be fair, the person we heard making that criticism is one of the beneficiaries that we interviewed on the grounds. He thought there was no point bringing them all the way from wherever they live to the Independence Square to march to commemorate this. That was his view. But we understand your response.
Yeah, agreed. I also appreciate, and that's why I said that I respect the views of whoever said that. But for me, it was just the color, and also to put smiles on their faces and to assure them that indeed the program has taken off. We've seen some before where people will be put on jobs and so on, and they are not too sure. They will run for 3, 4, 5 months even without remuneration. So this is a kind of assurance to tell them that it has really kicked off.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. You've allocated all of these 100,000 graduates to one of 7 modules. But have you actually placed them with employers and organizations yet?
Well, we said that in the month of September, there were a series of trainings. In October, we will be doing lots of postings. As we speak, most of them have their letters at hand. They are supposed to report to their district coordinator, and then they will be assigned to the various institutions which they will be working. I must say that I am not abreast with any information for now as to people, how many of them placed here or there. But I must also assure that it is work in progress. And this is the first. I have seen some appointment letters for some of them. Right. And therefore, it is work in progress. They are now going to be posted to their respective institutions.
So what's the target date that government is working with? By which date will every NABCO beneficiary be placed in an institution and working?
I need to talk to the coordinator, but I am pretty sure that at least between now and the end of the month, these processes of engaging them, there are 2 ways of engagement. Engagement is going on with the various institutions. In fact, whilst the recruitment processes were going on, even at the interview stage, we had representatives of all the institutions on the panel. So, for instance, if we were doing Hill Ghana interviews, we had the district director for health in there. So between now, a couple of weeks that are left to the end of the month, I am very sure that almost everybody will be given placement And then hopefully, by the 1st of November, we must see people fully, at job.
And when will their first salaries be paid?
I need to also confirm this, but I am pretty sure that once the appointment letters have been given them, by end of October, I am sure that they must be paid.
Right. Forgive me, but I wonder how comfortable our viewers feel hearing the Deputy Employment Minister not so sure when the payments will be made. This ought to be part of a plan, grand plan that you are supervising.
No, it must not surprise you at all, because the kinds of work we do in the ministry, remember, this is a special program, and we have allotted that to a secretariat. So there's a NABCO secretariat that is working on this. So the nitty-gritties, the fine details and all that, probably we need to get to Dr. Anyas to come up with some of these things. But the entire program, by way of policy, is what I'm trying to let you know.
Very well.
The fine details as to the dress color they will wear and all that, rest with Dr. Anyas and team.
Very well. So let's talk about the enterprise module, which I've been engaging our studio guest on. Now, that is where the private sector plugs into NABCO. Now, in my conversation with my guest, he raised some concerns that he's hoping will be addressed at policy level. He mentioned the fact that at this stage, there is a need to match the skills of these individuals to the jobs that are available, and that industry needs data and information about the specific skills of these individuals. In terms of policy, what is the way forward? Is there a source of that information with which AGI and other stakeholders can make decisions about who to recruit?
Yes, the enterprise model is going to be a pure partnership with the private sector and the program. And like I said, even at the interview level, we had representatives of some of these bodies sitting on the panel. To the best of my knowledge, that collaboration and cooperation has not changed, and that there will be lots of engagement with the private sector. Again, it is more demand-driven. Most of these enterprises must apply to the program, that we want such persons to assist us or work on this. And then we facilitate the process for which they will be engaged with them. The difference between this one, the NABCO program and national service, national service, you could do, let's say, fashion in school, and then go and they say, go and teach in JHS, the subject which you have not even done before. With NABCO program, it is not going to be so. As much as possible, square pegs will be put in square holes and round pegs in round holes. So lots of engagement will happen. And what we put out there by way of policy at the beginning, it still holds that there will be engagement with these people. The enterprises themselves will come up, organizations, institutions will come up and prescribe what they need, and NABCO Secretariat will turn out these beneficiaries to them.
Now, remind me, what's the budgetary allocation for this program, and the salaries and administrative costs?
We for the beneficiary side, it is going to be 700 Ghana cedis. As of today, and it has not changed. It has not changed. That is what it's going to be. So we can multiply 700 by the 100,000 people over the 3-year period. That is how much we have earmarked. What the Secretariat is working with, I cannot, as I stand on my feet, give the figure by way of administrative cost. But the beneficiaries are going to take 700 per beneficiary.
Right. So that's about 70 million cities, if I'm to work it out correctly, over 3 years.
Fantastic.
Right.
Fantastic.
Actually, no, that's per month. 70 million per month. Sorry. Over a period of 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, of course, since you're indicating that payments, you expect payments of these salaries to start from the end of October, we're already halfway through October. So we're looking at half of the salary for the first month, and I mean, are they all going to work in this first month? Are some people going to get paid for no work done?
No. And again, these are the fine details. The NABCO program is one that is highly digitized, right from the day of making your decision to apply and come on stream and all that. These are all very formalized programs. So by way of even the time that you start and all that, and even I am sure that this is one of the programs that will ensure efficiency in all workplaces.
Right,
because,
okay.
I mean, in terms of monitoring people and all that, this is a program people are already captured in the system. So one good thing that we shall have is the issue of ghost. I'm not sure this is a program that can happen because a lot more diligence has been done, especially when this e-work has been incorporated and being used more on the NABCO. So,
right.
Yeah, it's a plus for us there.
Yes, well, I hope you still keep your eye on the ball because it's people you're dealing with. So the more scrutiny, the better, obviously. But for now, Mr. Reku Brobe, thank you so much for your time with us, and thanks for the education.
Thank you very much also to your listeners.
Well, there you go then. Let's have a quick look on social media before we come back to you, Mr. Apollo. And social media, of course, is where we want to go and see what you have been saying about this NABCO initiative. So we asked how big an impact will NABCO make on the unemployment problem in Ghana. Now, first of all, let's be clear, Ghana doesn't know the size of its unemployment problem. We don't yet have data to tell us how many people are unemployed, which parts of the country they are located, what skills they have, how employable they are, and which aspects of industry require them. But let's see what you have been saying. When we asked that question, Johnson Kweku Kuranga Mponsa said, Kojo, why ask about the impact NABCO will have on unemployment? Don't you know the answer already? It will reduce the unemployment population by 100,000. A proper and positive question should be, how is NABCO going to impact on the development of Ghana? Thank you, Johnson, for your feedback. Solomon Kwesi says, sinister. So you gathered young guys playing at working hours to do your teaser. You are, oh, well, okay. This person accuses us of not being intelligent because the teaser seeks to conclude our discussion. Right, okay. Right, let's see. Ni Amonikwe says, it's a laudable initiative, but then again, the process is very slow, as we've known most government programs to be. How can you pass out without being placed? They keep exhausting timelines without fulfilling their promises. Personally, I think they're withholding some truth about the placement of the trainees, and this could affect attitudes towards work. Right, Shamuna Ibn Abubakar Zango says, it's a good step taken by him, I guess the president, but their salaries are very small. Well, thank you all for your comments. We appreciate that. Now, I think very quickly I'll take your thoughts on this. You heard his response to your question about matching the skills to the vacancies available. Are you satisfied with what they have in place?
Well, not entirely, but because he said it's a conversation which is ongoing, I hope that at the end of the day we will have further and better information to yeah. But essentially, before you go, I want to just to say that I think that decentralizing the employment situation where everything seems to focus in the capital cities to much more district rural will be very useful. So let's localize our industries. Let's support initiatives that target developing of industry in our district. I think that will go a long way to help. I was just in a meeting this morning with officials from Labor Department, and the guys, most of them have no clue about the number of unemployed, etc., etc. And I'm saying it's extremely unfortunate that we'll be in a situation without data.
Well, hopefully this is just the beginning of the conversation. Chonam Akpelo is the president of the, or chairman of the Greater Accra chapter of the Association of Ghana Industries.